Hi again, everybody. My name is Brandy Parker, and I wanted to talk with you about equilibrium. What is it, and why does it matter? Economic equilibrium is a condition or state in which economic forces are balanced. Specifically, we are talking about the forces of supply and demand. In the top right corner, you can see an image, my example for supply and demand. We have rice as the example here. We have 3 consumers looking to buy rice, and we have had 3 suppliers who have supplied rice for exactly that amount of consumers. So it's a big simplification, but you get the idea. Demand equals supply, that is equilibrium. Really, the gist of it is we want a good chunk of suppliers to be able to supply and still make the profit that they want, and also meeting the most desires as possible for society, right? So when we can bring those two things together, we get a good equilibrium. On my final slide, let's look at those charts we're all getting so used to seeing. Here is equilibrium with surplus and with shortage, and I really feel like getting a good understanding of these basic charts will help us all to grasp those price control charts that we're all trying to learn right now. If you look at the graph on the left, you can see that the forces are pushing down. So if you have a bunch of hot dogs made for $5, and you have only a few people who are willing to pay that kind of price for those hot dogs, while your suppliers are quite happy to make a bunch of them at that price. So what do you wind up with? A surplus. You have too many, and the forces are going to naturally push that back down towards equilibrium, right? Because people aren't going to buy them. They're sitting there on the shelves. Suppliers want them to sell, so what are they going to do? They're going to lower the price, right? On the opposite end of that, if we have a really great price for, some awesome item, you have a ton of folks wanting to buy that. Well, at that low price, your suppliers aren't looking to sell that many. They're going to wait, right? As the demand builds, they will then increase how many they make because they're going to make more profit. Or you have some suppliers who can't afford to make that product at too low of a price, right? It really does depend. We saw that with some of the examples with oil. So now your economic forces are pushing upward towards equilibrium. So if you think about your price floors and things, you can see why to have a binding price ceiling, you need the forces trying to push up against it all the time. So your price ceiling would need to be below equilibrium, right? So that those forces are constantly trying to move back towards equilibrium. But if you had a binding price floor, then you want that to be slightly above equilibrium, so those are always pushing down. So it makes sense once you get a good grasp of it, and I hope this helps. Thank you so much and have a great day.